the house of William Bligh. So what do we know about William Bligh? He was born in 1754 in Plymouth, and then he became a lieutenant with the Royal Navy. And he went on a mission to find breadfruit and sailed all the way to Tahiti to find it and bring it back to the Caribbean. Fortunately, his trip to Tahiti was very delayed, stormy seas, having to go around the Cape of Good Hope. And by the time they got to Tahiti, the breadfruit wasn't mature enough to be repotted. The crew had to stay on the island of Tahiti for 5 months, and during that time they met women and they fell in love, and some of them even started thinking of having a family. And by the time it was time to sail back on the Bounty, they weren't interested in returning to a life of difficulty at sea. And that's when Fletcher Christian and his gang decided to take over the Bounty, and there was a mutiny, and they kicked Captain Bligh off the ship with 18 people, and they sailed back to Tahiti and Pitcairn Island and left William Bligh to row across the open sea to his safety. No one thought he'd survive, but William Bligh did. He sailed with his 18 men nearly 7,000 kilometres to Australia. When he eventually got back to London, he had to obviously face the courts because he'd lost his ship, and he fought to clear his name. And then he was told that he was the worst captain ever, a real tyrant, and that's why the crew mutinied against him. Record showed that he was actually a really intellectual man, and that he was very concerned about the diet and exercise and well-being of his crew. And record showed that where other captains would have flogged or even hanged their crew members for what they did, Bligh didn't do that, so he was very lenient with his punishment. And here in a little courtyard of St Mary's, just off Lambeth Road where he used to live, is the tomb of Captain William Bligh, and on top is supposed to be a breadfruit, and this breadfruit is what he brought back to the Caribbean, and then the breadfruit became a staple of the Caribbean diet. A very fitting and peaceful setting for William Bligh.